everybody, and welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. So today I have my August book haul for you. I actually managed to keep pretty decent considering. I believe I have only 10 or 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 exactly. 10 books this month, which is not bad at all compared to the past months where I just feel like I was going crazy buying all of the books. I tried to stay good because I know September I have a ton of pre-orders and I know I still have so many on my shelves that I need to get to. So I tried to stay good. So let's just start off with the Book of the Month books that I purchased. If you didn't know, I'm a member of Book of the Month. And it's a program where they release 5 new books every month and you get to choose from one of those 5, and I think it's $14.99 a month unless I have the year program, so I think it's a little bit cheaper than that. And then you can get add-ons up to 2 add-ons for $9.99 each. So it's safe to say I almost get 3 books every single month because I'm crazy. But yeah, I'll leave my link down below if you're interested in checking them out. But I got 3 books, as always. I went back and grabbed a book from July, and that was The Beauty in Breaking by Michelle Harper. This is a memoir. Michelle is a Black woman who works as that sounded weird, as a ER physician, I believe. And so it's kind of her take on being in this predominantly white male job, being a Black woman doing that same job. It just sounded really interesting and I really wanted to see what her perspective was, so I decided to grab this one. Then I grabbed a fantasy novel, and this was just kind of a extra add-on where like they didn't have it as one of their 5, but it was a new add-on, and that was Star Daughter by Shveta Thakrar. I don't know. I'm probably pronouncing that totally wrong. This is a fantasy novel where our main character is part star, part human, and her mom has kind of gone back to live in Starland, and she is like starting to come into her powers. I believe she's starting to kind of like feel the calling of the stars, and one day she kind of like her powers just kind of go crazy, and I think she hits her father, and that's obviously very detrimental, and I think the only person who can possibly save him is another star or her mother, so she decides to go up there to try to like save her father. And I believe when she gets up there, they kind of have this like battle going on of like who can like be the new leading family. So I think like she's got to compete in these like games. I don't know. Sounded really fun. I'm hoping that it's a standalone just because Book of the Month hasn't been the greatest about providing sequels lately, so I'm hoping that it's just a standalone, but we'll see. This book is just like stunning though, so oh my gosh, I'm like sweating, I apologize. But yeah, I hope that I end up liking this one. Then one of the ones that was like the main 5 choices, I picked Atomic Love by Jenny Fields. I believe this is about a woman in the 1950s. She is working as a physicist with a colleague, and they kind of have this love affair, and then they go on their separate ways, and then it's now years later, and I think like this was kind of after the whole like atomic bomb becoming a thing, and they're like, we need you to go spy on that guy, and she's like, okay. And I believe it's like a love triangle potentially. I don't know. It just sounded good. Historical fiction has really been up my alley lately, so I hope I like it. Then I obviously had to get Reese's book club pick for the month of August. I've already read it, so I'll leave my link up in the cards somewhere above me. And that was Everything Inside by Edwidge Danticat, and this is a short story collection, which is not normally my cup of tea, but it definitely was something surprising that I enjoyed, and I'm hoping to try a full length novel by her at some point. She is from Haiti, I believe. And so a lot of her stories kind of really reflect back on her Haitian culture and that community. A lot of them were either people longing to go home to Haiti or they were in Haiti. Each story really hits on something different. One will hit on dementia. One kind of has some postpartum depression, AIDS, so it really like hits some heavy topics. And there's 8 short stories in here, so it's rather short, but each story does feel pretty lengthy. Like I said, I'll leave my review up above so that way you don't have to listen to me review this again, but I'll leave my link in the cards if you are interested. Then a book that I should have pre-ordered, but I didn't know it was coming out. I feel like so shameful that I had no idea it was coming out. But that is To Love a Prince by Rachel Hawk. She had a release come out in February, so I kind of assumed she was done for the year. And suddenly I was on Facebook scrolling, and I saw Denise Hunter like congratulate her on her release day, and I was like, oh no, how'd I miss that? This was self-published, so maybe there was just not a lot of marketing towards this book. But Rachel Hawk is a Christian fiction romance author. I'm assuming that this book is going to have something to do with royalty, but I don't know too much more about that. I don't think it's historical romance by any means, but should be interesting. I have no idea what it's about. I literally just saw that and immediately ordered it just because I read anything Rachel Hawk writes, but yeah. Hopefully that'll be a good one. Next stack of books that I have are from The Lit Bar, which I found through a link that I've been linking down below by Black-owned bookstores. So I decided to put my money there just because I've been very depressed with the world lately, and I just felt like giving back in just at least a little way right now. So I decided to look on there, and I found Lit Bar. They're located in New York, so I decided that's close to Connecticut, so kind of as local as I can get right now. So I went with them, and I ordered 5 books. And yeah, so the first one I got was The Invincible Summer of Juniper Jones by David McQueen. I'm actually currently reading this. I'm exactly halfway, I believe. I think I'm 155 pages in. This is about, so this is a young adult novel set in 1955, and we are following Ethan. And Ethan has recently gotten in trouble at home. He is biracial, and he's been living with his white father in Washington, and his father decides as a punishment he's going to send him to live with his aunt and uncle for the summer in Alabama. So he obviously is facing a lot of adversity that he was not seeing in Washington, and he ends up making a friend with Juniper Jones, and she is just also kind of an outsider in this town, and it's just them trying to get through the summer. There's a lot of different topics that are obviously brought up and things that he experiences. It's hard to read at times, and the author doesn't shy away from different language and vulgar terms that Ethan is referred to. So it's a tough read. It's hard because it's young adult, and I get it, but I don't know whose hands this would be appropriate in. I think it's a book that definitely requires some discussion if you're going to put it into some younger hands. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying this one. Yeah. And then I also grabbed A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. I've been seeing a lot by her. I have her thriller for September that's coming out in September pre-ordered, but I've been wanting to give this series a try. I'm not into historical romance, but I believe that this is actually set like in current time, which I'm all for. Royalty. I love royalty stories, but I feel like they need to be set in current times. Oh no, I just saw there's an email. So definitely a current time story. Mass market paperbacks, I feel like kind of almost always give this kind of illusion of historical romance, but it's a current one. So I'm excited to see what this one's like. I believe it's a quartet. I think there's 4 books in this series. So I'm excited to give this one a try. Then I saw this one on Instagram and I had to have it, and that's Motherland by Leah Franqui. This one is about a woman who lives in New York, and she agrees to move to Mumbai with her Indian-born husband. And so kind of like the culture shock, and his mother is over there, and they kind of butt heads. And it just kind of reminded me, I'm really obsessed with the show 90 Day Fiancé, and lately they've been having one called The Other Way, which is like when people move to the other country instead of having their loved one come here. So I thought this one would be a lot of fun, and I wanted to give it a try, and this cover is just beautiful. It's probably not picking up, but this gold is definitely very like shimmery gold, so I don't know, really gorgeous. Can't wait to try this one. And then I grabbed Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky by Kwame Mabalia, I think. This is one of the books that Rick Riordan has kind of put out. Rick Riordan's books tend to be about Greek mythology or Roman mythology, or he's got his Egyptian series, and he kind of started like publishing other people's works. And I believe that they all have to do with a certain mythology as well, but this one kind of focuses on American folklore, which is what really caught my eye about this one. And I don't really know too much about it, but I think it looks like, again, kind of he gets in a problem. So it says he failed to save his best friend when they were in a bus accident together. So then he ends up going to his grandparents' farm in Alabama and to heal, and then I guess the folklore comes into play. I'm not positive. My husband is very into American folklore as well, so he picked this up the other day. I literally went to go take pictures of this to put it on my Instagram, and he all of a sudden I turned around and there he was like reading this, and I was like, can I borrow that? So I think he does plan on reading this one, but I'm excited. I think there's 2 books out in this right now. I don't know if it's going to be a duology or series or what, but it just sounded really good. And then the last book I grabbed was A Song of Wraiths. I always want to just call it Wraths, but I think it's Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. And I believe this is a fantasy novel where our main character is, I think, like the queen. And she has to do something in order to save her mother, and in order to save her mother, she needs to kill some guy, and this guy, in order to save his save his magic or something, is to kill her or something like that, and they like end up like kind of they're both trying to kill each other story. Probably butchered that a lot, but I've been seeing rave reviews about this one. It's beautiful. I believe it's a standalone, which again, like I said, I kind of just love when books are just standalones. It's so funny because back in the day, I used to read all the series, I feel like, and now I'm just like, I just want a standalone novel because it's so hard to remember from one book to another that I would just rather complete the story in one book. But I believe that this is a standalone, so can't wait to get to this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books down below, and I will see you guys really soon. Bye, everybody.